legal address for a company in Poland. Everything you need to know in one video. Friends, I have been living in Poland for 8 years and running a business. We help register companies in Poland and private entrepreneurship. So in this video, in one video, you will learn all the necessary information you need to know regarding a legal address. What it is, or not just how it works, what risks exist, whether you can register a legal address to your grandmother, Aki, and what to do if you get an inspection. All of this in this video. So question number 1. What is a legal address? Why is it needed? And why is it important? A legal address is something that is necessary for registering your activity, whether it be a sole proprietorship or a company. The local tax office is linked to the legal address, to which your company will then be attached. A legal address is a means of communication between you and other partners, contractors, clients, and most importantly with government agencies. It is to the legal address that any correspondence is sent. It is to the legal address that your card from your legal account to your bank will most likely be sent, and it is to the legal address that you will receive, if necessary, information about any fine, any summons or court appearance. All of this revolves around this thing, and a legal address in Poland is either rented as a virtual address or rented as some kind of premises, like where I am right now. And I also link my address to this premises. Friends, I'm looking at my phone not because I need a hint, but because I have a list of 9 questions here that I hear from you every day, on social media, in messages, and during paid consultations. So let's move on to the questions you frequently ask. First, how much does a legal address cost? On average, a legal address in Poland costs 100 zlotys net. That is about 125 zlotys gross, but if you pay for 6 months or a year, it can be cheaper. Second, can your apartment be a legal address? Technically it can. The contract must include a special clause that allows the apartment address to also serve as a legal address. But it's all complicated and usually doesn't make any economic sense, because the apartment can be changed. You might be evicted or the contract might be terminated, whereas a legal address is static and costs 100 zlotys per month. Probably, well, at least for me, it's simpler this way. In which city is it better to have a legal address? It's better to have a legal address in the city where you plan to conduct business, because the local tax office is linked to this address. Thus, if your legal address is in Warsaw, somewhere around the Golden Terraces, it will be linked to the nearest tax office. Accordingly, if you live in Wrocław and your legal address and kind of your business is in Warsaw, it's not always convenient, because sometimes you will need to visit the local tax office or the social insurance institution and resolve some issues on site, which means you will need to travel to Warsaw. So make your legal address in Wrocław. Next, first the legal address, then the company registration, or first the company registration, then the legal address. It is impossible to register a company in Poland without having a legal address. You must already have it in advance, and here arises a vicious circle. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What is more important? First the legal address or the company? I want a legal address for the company, but I don't have a company to conclude it with. A contract for a legal address for a company that doesn't exist yet. A vicious circle. Friends, it's simple. If someone is helping you register a company, whether it's us or someone else, they already have arrangements in place, allowing you to use the legal address in advance and later conclude a contract for the same legal address with the registered company. If you don't have this opportunity or you are doing it yourself, then you will have to go through the same procedure yourself, meaning you need to arrange it in advance on your own. There are people who don't give notice, meaning they find a legal address on the internet, register a company to it, and then come and say, hello, I have a legal address registered to your address, and here I am listed in the commercial register. Not a very good option, I think. Someone might get upset with you, but in general, people do that too. Can you open a company while being in one place? That is, we are often asked if we can open a company while being in Krakow. My legal address will be in Warsaw, and I am, let's say, in Kyiv or there, in Lublin. Is it possible to create such an incredible scheme? Yes, it is possible, and it's not some kind of scheme. It's a normal course of events. It doesn't matter where you are, where we are. The important place is where you actually want to have this legal address. Can I change the legal address, and how much does it cost? Yes, You can change it at any time. It costs 300 zlotys per year, the fee for changes in the KRS. And if you know how to do everything, then it costs nothing more. If you don't know, then on average 200, 300 euros. Companies that deal with this can help you. We can also help with this, by the way, if you need to change the legal address. Next, can the legal address be my own office or my warehouse? Yes, it can be. That's also a great option. Well, you'll save money, and plus you don't need to. Have a legal address in one place, a warehouse in another, and an office in a third place. Great. You've found, let's say, such a premises. There's an address here. There's a postal code. Yes? And this building is also linked to a certain tax office. Great. Duh. Just enter it. During registration, and use it, your mailbox at this address will simply receive some letters. Why is a legal address in Poland paid? It's paid because there are companies specializing in legal addresses, and the service involves renting a premises in bulk. They usually also provide accounting services and some clerical work there. And they sublease to you, well, on paper, a small portion. But equally important is that they actually, if you receive a letter, they collect the letter on your behalf and either take a photo or scan it and send it to you. In fact, this is usually what companies charge for. Can it be free? In theory, it can be if it's your friend, colleague, or partner there. But we had this funny situation where we didn't pay for the legal address for a long time, and the accountant asked, like, why aren't you paying for the legal address? We said, well, we got it for free there. She said, well, you know, it's better to pay at least something, anything, but it's better to pay just to have fewer questions. Well, I probably recommend the same to you. Can there be a fictitious legal address, and what are the risks? This is the final concluding question. So, a legal address in Poland works. It's a normal official legal practice. There are no fictitious addresses here, no abandoned buildings where 1 million companies are registered. That don't exist for beneficiaries who are some kind of vagrants. So in Poland, it doesn't work like that, and in Europe as well. Therefore, probably such a thing exists somewhere. I haven't seen anyone involved in this or anyone needing it, and you shouldn't get into it at all. So you have a normal virtual legal address where, if necessary, an inspector can come in. The company from which you rent this address will confirm that, yes, we have such a company. It is hosted with us. Well, in the format of a virtual address, you can receive a letter there. They will scan it for you, so it's a normal situation. What risks might there be? There are several risks. The most important is that the legal address where you registered the company is compromised. It has some bad black, gray, orange karma, which inspectors in a government agency might latch onto. For example, when issuing you a VAT number, a VAT ID, they see that there are many companies at this legal address. Some of these companies in the past had a bad history and might simply set the papers aside and say that they do not want to deal with yet another company at this yet another unclear legal address. You need to keep an eye on this. There are ways to check in advance to ensure that everything is in order. Well, I don't know what else. They might not pick up correspondence or send it to you late or simply not pick it up, just being negligent. This can be a problem, but usually this is all specified in contracts. There are terms meaning conditions, like how long they have to send you a photo or a scan. That's about it. I advise you to pay for the legal address in advance, not beforehand for some longer period. You'll just save an extra 100 to 200 euros. We just took a break, discussed more. Yes, the legal address is also linked to the employment office. This is a government body that deals with employees and issuing work permits. So there are cities and addresses where it is very difficult to obtain a work permit for your employee. And some entrepreneurs, they have to change their legal address, not just within the city, but actually change it to another city. But by changing it to another city, your documents are transferred to another inspector, and this can, let's say, work in your favor. Things can go much faster. Or on the contrary, you are in a small town, move to Warsaw, and everything, gets stuck, and it all starts taking a very long time. Therefore, use your head, watch videos about business in Poland, subscribe to us. To us, just subscribe to us. please, everywhere on all social networks. If you need help with registration of a company in Poland or a private enterprise or a paid professional consultation, check the links below. All the information is under this video. Bye.